Yo guys, what's up? Hyper D Kaiser here. I'm here with my, I guess, what do you want to call it? The Vanguard WCQ from New York. I got back yesterday. Unfortunately, I was 51st on the blue side because I went 3-2, which obviously after two losses disqualifies you. Unfortunately, did not make it. My teammate made it to top 16. He was using Dote. Um, Top 16 like overall he made it there, then lost against the America match, but overall it was actually really fun. I was able to finish a few decks of mine that I've been working on, but overall I really enjoyed myself. It was definitely a great time. The ride home not so much, but at the tournament it was pretty good. So uh, let's see, round one. Let's start up with the matchups. Round one, we started with an Aqua Force Glory Maelstrom deck. I did not have too much trouble with that. I won. Round two was another Aqua Force Glory Maelstrom deck, and I defeated that as well. Round three was against Dimensional Police Great Dayusha, and I defeated that as well. So starting off a great 3-0, definitely helped my confidence with the deck that I chose to run, and it was a lot. It made me feel like I made some good card choices overall. Round four was against Dote, unfortunately. I did not win that one. I did not hit. I think I hit one trigger that entire time, and it was a draw trigger. I had no damage triggers and no triggers when I drive checked, so it was just kind of just like, okay, not that great. Round five was against Murakami with the brake ride, now that they have that, since that was available for them this tournament. And once again, I hit absolutely no triggers at all that game whatsoever. I pretty much drew into my draw triggers, which I would have preferred to draw into my crits or heals, but draw triggers 5k is just not enough. So unfortunately, lost that one due to the grind, and that's what knocked me out. Anyway, let's get on to what deck I chose to run. Normally, you guys know me. I'm usually OTT fanboy, as you can see by the mat here. But I chose to run Angel Feathers. Surprisingly enough, I had been testing this out actually quite a bit, and it seemed really good, as well as with the surprise factor. Nobody really expects the huge columns that this deck can create, actually. So I guess we'll start off with the starting Vanguard, obviously, Crimson Heart Nehas. She is the superior ride, grade 0 for Crimson Impact Metatron. Her effect is just like Criff's from Gold Paladin for Ezel superior ride. So she needs the grade 2 and 1, obviously, move it to soul, and then you superior ride your grade 3 Metatron, which we run 4 of here. Not much to say. Her limit break is actually really good. Counterblast 1, choose 2 of your rear guards that you have, put them into your damage zone, then you choose 2 face up Angel Feathers and call them to the rear guard. They actually help power up, obviously, the Billion Ray and 1000 Ray Pegasus, as well as the other grade 3 you run, which is the Phoenix Calamity Flames. They're pretty much, backups for your ponies in case, and as well as not a horrible Vanguard to ride, because every time she takes damage, obviously she gets 2000 power, so it gets easier and easier to guard with during that rest of that turn. So, on the other effect of Metatron is she can pretty much hit 13k very hard by herself, since when she attacks, she becomes 13k. So, on to grade 2s, we have 4 of the Crimson Drive Aphrodite. A lot of people don't know how to say her name correctly. It's Aphrodite, as in like the goddess of love. Her effect is if she's in the damage zone, you can flip her face down to give 3,000 to your Vanguard. So, it's good, and she's part, obviously, of the superior ride. So, we also, let me do this. Okay, see that better. 4 Millionaire Pegasus. Obviously, just like the Calamity Flame, 2000 power every time a card goes into the damage zone. So, it combos really well with pretty much everything in this deck. So, as well as the last grade 2 would be Love Machine Gun No Sale. There's actually really cool combo you can do with her, a column of the either column of the Thousand Ray Pegasus and the Phoenix, as well as in the other column Love Machine Gun and one of the grade 1s we'll get into in a little bit later. But her effect is when she's called to the rear guard, you can put a card from your hand into your damage zone, then take a card from your damage zone and put it in your hand. So very helpful to get back a 10k shield you might need, a perfect shield that happens to be in the damage zone. Let's say if you're missing a grade 3 and you're only on grade 2, you can call her to the rear guard, get it out of your damage zone, and obviously be able to ride it next turn. She's just very useful as utility, as well as powering up your Pegasuses and your Phoenix Calamity Flames. So, very fun. On to, where did I put the other up here? Okay. On to the grade 1s. We have 4 of the Crimson Mind Baruch. She is part of the Superior Ride, and same effect as Aphrodite. You flip her, give in the damage zone flipper, give her 3,000 of the Vanguard. So nothing too hard with that. We also have 4 of the Perfect Guards. It's pretty self-explanatory in this type of game right now, where the game is right now. We also have 4 of the Thousand Ray Pegasus, which, just like the Phoenix, as well as the grade 2, 2,000 power every time a card is put into the damage zone. We also run 2 of the Dr. Red Micros, which is the self-damage inflictor, which is actually a very important part for one of the main combos of the deck, and I'll get into that after we're done with the profile. As well as 1 Clutch Rifle Angel. Clutch Rifle was kind of a last-minute pick just because I didn't have any of the grade 1 no seals on hand. It did help out a lot when hitting the 23 mark with Metatron, but at the same time, I feel like if I had no seal, just as a one-of, it would have helped out a little bit more, just with the more damage switching and so on and so forth. But who knows? It might not have been, who knows what would have happened if I had her. But it definitely did help a lot during certain games that I played. So, and on to the trigger lineup, which is pretty basic, like nothing really. We have the 8 critical triggers. I chose to run 3 different crits just to help with, try to make your opponent think you're running more crits than you actually are, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, we have the 4 draws and the 4 heals. So nothing too, interesting there, but, all good. And, of course, the draw trigger here has the same effect as Aphrodite and Baruch, as in flipper in the damage zone, give 3,000 to your Vanguard. So, alright, let's go on to combos with this deck. Alright, so let's say you have... This is probably my favorite combo in the deck, and probably one of the most powerful ones. That in your Vanguard line. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This in your Vanguard line. Let's say you're unlucky and didn't get the Pegasus, but this is the other line. So what you do is, and let's say you have, where is my grade 2s? There we go. And then let's say you have these 2 in hand. So what you do is you call, let's say you have 4 damage as well, and let's say it's face up because you haven't used any. So you call Miss Love Machine Gun here. You trade a card from your hand and put it into your damage zone, and then take one out. So this automatically pumps these guys up by 2,000 each. Then you call Dr. Micros, counterblast 1, put another card into your damage zone. So that bumps them up to 2. Activate her limit break. You put these 2 into your damage zone, and then you call them both back. So this bumps them up to 4. And actually, if this would actually work out better if this was a Pegasus, because he'd be getting that much freaking as well. So sorry about that. Let's start that right there. Okay, so that's 4. Let's say you were at 3 damage when you did it, actually, because you have actually activated this to put you at 4 damage. Love Machine Gun activates again. So you put another card in switch. So this puts them up to 5 apiece. 5 stacks of, 2,000. And then Doctor of Micros' skill again activates again. You put another card in the damage zone. That puts these up to 6. So not only did you put yourself at 5 damage, 2 of them go back to the deck at the end of the turn. But let's say you attack and you hit. Let's say your opponent's probably at like 3 damage or so as well. Even at 4. So let's say you drive check, or you attack with your Vanguard for, what is this, 6 times 2 is 12, 19, that's 32 on the Vanguard line. This line will not be very big, that's not a big deal. This is going to be huge. But 32 just from your Vanguard. Let's say you drive check, heal trigger. So that puts you down to 4 damage. You heal one of the counterblaster one, obviously. And obviously one you don't want to put back in the deck. Put you down to 4 damage, right? So you attack with this line, so that's 22 and 19. 41 on your 41 over here. 41. That's retarded. And then 14 obviously with this. End phase, you put back 2 damage back to your deck. The flip ones obviously, because you wanted them to go back in the deck. Now you're sitting at 2 damage. Your opponent just had to waste so much or just took it. Either way, you're at a very, very good position right now. So it's just like one of the retarded, really good combos that I love with this deck. And there's just so many other ones you can do. Just manipulating the damage zone to your liking and putting back triggers and recycling everything. It's just really, really fun. And I actually really like it. But unfortunately, great games around 4 and 5 just did not work out too well for me. But that's what happens. It's Vanguard. It's not super luck based, but it is very luck based. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. But guys, thank you for watching. I think the next thing I'll do will probably be my updated OTT list, since I was able to get everything for the Battle Sister deck that I want to run. So I will catch you guys later. Peace out.